It's a warm Saturday night in suburban Florida. Bass-thumping hip-hop rattles the windows of the Hadleys' home. Dozens of teenagers cram the living room, red Solo cups in hand, laughter echoing, couches overturned for impromptu trampolines. Beer pong tables slick with spills, the air thick with sweat, cheap cologne, and weed smoke. It looks like any wild high school rager. But behind a locked bedroom door, covered under a bunch of random household items, lie two brutally murdered people, the parents of the kid hosting the party. Welcome to Trending Docket. I'm your host, Michelle. Today, we dive into one of the most chilling cases of familicide, the story of 17-year-old Tyler Hadley, who on July 16, 2011, in Port St. Lucie, Florida, killed his parents, then partied like nothing happened. This isn't just a crime story. It's a window into a family's shattered world, a numb teenager's descent, and the fragile line between normalcy and nightmare. To understand the unimaginable, we start with the victims, the Hadley family, pillars of their quiet Port St. Lucie neighborhood on the 300 block of Northeast Grandeur Avenue. Blake Hadley was a 54-years-old father and husband. At over 6 feet tall, he was a marathon runner with a lean, muscular build from pounding pavement in St. Lucie County races. His short, salt and pepper hair framed a kind face, often creased in a proud father's smile. Blake was a dedicated plant operator for Florida Power and Light, providing stability for his family in their spacious 4-bedroom home, a manicured haven with palm trees swaying in the Atlantic breeze. Friends described him as the ultimate dad, coaching Little League, grilling burgers for block parties, always quick with a joke. Then there was Mary Jo Hadley, 47, the heart of the home. At 5'7" with shoulder-length hair streaked blonde, with warm hazel eyes, always radiating with kindness and empathy. Mary Jo worked as a first-grade teacher in Port St. Lucie. She was known to have a great sense of humor and was a teacher that students always returned to visit. Friends said Mary Jo was the one organizing beach picnics at Pepper Park, baking cookies for Tyler's school fundraisers, and worrying endlessly about her son's future. The Hadleys were married for 25 years, raising their 17-year-old son Tyler in what neighbors called picture-perfect suburbia. With their older son off at college, no one saw the cracks forming. Tyler Hadley was a 5'11" teenager. He was lanky at 160 pounds with short brown hair, known to be an introvert at school. Born December 16, 1993, Tyler had a troubled childhood. He had a history of vandalism, theft, and drug use. His parents grounded him often, but lovingly. Blake kept pushing him to run track, and Mary Jo enrolled him in a church youth group at Faith Assembly of God. Tyler had no history of violent behavior, no red flags screaming monster. Tyler posted goofy Facebook selfies and just wanted to party and have a good time. But beneath his grin, teen angst brewed, peer pressure, family expectations, whispers of depression. The Hadleys embodied the dream so many chase: hard work, faith, family. Until one humid afternoon, it all imploded. Saturday, July 16th, 2011. A day that started ordinary in Port St. Lucie, where summer heat shimmered off the driveways. Tyler, restless after an argument with his parents over his messy room and wanting to have a party, his parents telling him no, like so many times before. Tyler popped an ecstasy pill he swiped from a friend. The high rolling in, he blasted heavy metal while messaging his friend Antonio on Facebook Messenger. Tyler was telling Antonio that the party was going to happen and his parents would be leaving soon. By 1:15, a couple hours after his messages with Antonio, Tyler posted to his Facebook wall, "Party at my crib tonight, maybe." Tyler grabbed a 16-ounce claw hammer from the garage workbench. It was time to have his parents leave. At 8:15 p.m., Tyler posted another message on Facebook. "Party at my house, HMU." His friends were still skeptical because they all knew how strict Tyler's parents were. Messaged back, "What if your parents come home?" Tyler responded simply, "They won't. Trust me." Tyler later confessed he struck his mom first as she sat at the computer. With all the commotion, his dad, Blake, ran in to see what was going on. Horrified, he yelled, "Why?" Tyler responded cold and told his dad, quote, "Why the F not?" before hitting him with the hammer. He hit both over and over as they screamed and begged for their lives. Tyler claimed to be in a dissociated state and kept going until they were dead. Tyler moved their bodies into the master bedroom, covered them in a bunch of random household items to try and hide them, before locking the door behind him. He said he went into the bathroom, looked at himself in the mirror covered in blood, and laughed. The metallic tang choked the air. Walls wept, red handprints from his frantic cleanup, mopping with Lysol, hosing the patio, and scrubbing for 4 agonizing hours as Xanax chased the high. By 10:18 p.m., 60 teens piled into the house. Most didn't even know who Tyler was. There was a lot of drinking, beer pong in the kitchen, people on the front lawn, and things breaking throughout the house. Tyler started to get worried, not about the mess and broken items, but the noise. He was worried that the neighbors would call the police. The party continued, more drinking, music playing, and bloodstains visible if they were to look closely. As the party continued, people started to question where his parents were, especially because he was telling people different things. Tyler told one person they went to Orlando. He told one person that they went to Georgia. And another, quote, "They don't live here. This was his house," end quote. But the mask cracked around 1 a.m. when Tyler pulled aside his best friend, 18-year-old Michael Mandel. This was the turning point. The confession amid the party haze, a moral dagger for everyone involved. Michael Mandel, a stocky senior with buzzed hair and a conscience, later recounted the horror. According to Michael Mandel, in his 911 call and trial testimony, quote, Tyler said, "I bashed my parents' heads in with a hammer. I thought he was joking until he opened the master bedroom door, lifted the air mattress, and there they were, his mom and dad, covered in blood, eyes open, staring." End quote. Mandel ran from the room, heart pounding, he told 2 other partygoers. They confronted Tyler in the kitchen. He shrugged. "What am I supposed to do? Bury him in the backyard?" The moral dilemma tore at Mandel. He'd seen the gore, but continued to stay at the party another 45 minutes, even taking a selfie with Tyler before driving home and dialing 911. Port St. Lucie police swarmed the Hadley home by 4:45 a.m., July 17th. neighbors rousing to sirens. The police entered the home, where they found his parents' bodies in the bedroom. The hammer was found in between their bodies. Tyler was arrested on the spot. According to Port St. Lucie police detective Scott Pennick, who led the interrogation, quote, "Tyler pointed out the blood spatter like a tour guide. 'That's where Dad fell,' he said, no emotion. Then claimed, 'demons in my head from heavy metal that made him do it.' The crime scene was a slaughterhouse. 30 skull fractures on Blake, pulverized face on Mary Jo, hammer with flesh flecks recovered beside them." End quote. The forensic team swarmed the residence. Luminol lit up the invisible blood on the floors, walls, even the AC vent where Tyler hid his clothes. The autopsies later confirmed massive brain hemorrhages and pinned the time of death to be in between 5 and 6 p.m. on July 16th. The digital breadcrumbs were a key piece of evidence. Tyler's computer history showed searches for famous Hammers murders weeks prior. Also, the friends' testimony about messages they received from Tyler weeks and months before the murders showed premeditation, and they tried him as an adult. Tyler pleaded no contest to 2 first-degree murders. Judge Robert Makeimson said, quote, "This wasn't impulse. It was premeditated savagery amid a loving home. Partying over your parents' corpses defies humanity." End quote. Sentenced March 25th, 2014, to 2 consecutive life terms with no parole. Tyler, now 31, rots in South Bay Correctional Facility. But in 2039, he will be eligible for a sentencing review. Tyler has been asked many times why. He claims, quote, "I think it was to stop all our pain, and other than that, with any clarity, I can't. It's still not clear to me." End quote. The Hadley tragedy rips at the soul. A devoted family extinguished by a son's hammer swings, masked by party lights. Blake and Mary Jo deserved better. They wanted nothing but the best for their sons. Tyler's story screams for empathy amid horror. Teen brains warped by drugs, isolation, unchecked rage. It forces us to hug our kids tighter, listen deeper, spot the silences before they scream. Thank you for listening to Trending Docket. If this gripped you and you want to hear more cases, subscribe. Drop your thoughts below. Until next time, stay vigilant